Assumptions. Many models of the cosmos have been developed. They are different from one another depending on the assumptions used in developing these models. However, most of them share one common characteristic. They are all based on the physical reality of the universe. Time, space, matter, and energy are regarded as physically real. Consciousness is considered a secondary byproduct or an epiphenomenon of the material world. The main issue encountered in such a model is the inability to explain how insentient physical things and processes can give rise to the subjective experience of consciousness. In recent times, this is called the hard problem of consciousness. This is a problem that has remained unresolved till today. Take for example the experience of seeing an apple. To see an apple, there must be light reflected from the apple entering the eyes. An image of the apple will be formed at the back of the eye, the retina, where there are photoreceptor cells. The stimulations of these cells will in turn trigger the optic nerve to send impulses to the visual center of the brain, where more neurons are being stimulated. All these are physical processes, yet at the end of it all, there is a sudden subjective experience of seeing an apple. There is someone who says, "I am aware of seeing an apple." It is this transition from the objective to the subjective that has remained unexplained till today. No one, no scientist, no philosopher has been able to explain successfully this transition. All our other sensorial perceptions, hearing, smelling, touching, tasting, work in exactly the same way. Similarly, when we think our thoughts and feel our emotions, there is no doubt that when we think our thoughts and feel our emotions, that there are neural activities occurring in the brain as well as other physiological processes happening in the body. But these too are physical processes which do not explain how they could give rise to subjective consciousness. If we are to carefully observe and reflect on our day-to-day experience, it becomes quite clear that no matter what we experience, all we have ever known and all that we can ever know is just the content of our own consciousness. We have never experienced a physical thing directly. No one has. Because of this, it follows that the idea that there is a physical reality behind our perceptions is just an assumption. Even if there is such a physical reality, it can never be proven or disproven. Therefore, to assume that there is only consciousness without considering any physical reality behind the perceptions is not as far-fetched or incredulous as it may first seem to be. On the contrary, it is quite logical. Indeed, this idea is not new at all. It has existed for thousands of years. Many spiritual traditions of the world also assert, in one way or another, that the world is dreamlike or illusory. In other words, they too do not consider the world to be physically real. Even in Western philosophy, we have similar ideas in the form of idealism. Therefore, in developing this model of the cosmos, we only use one assumption. There is consciousness. Or to use a more metaphysical way of expressing it, there is the self. Time, space, matter, and energy are all therefore considered creations of consciousness within consciousness. They are apparently real, but not physically so.